Marcus Thompson stood outside Rossi's Italian restaurant on North Clark Street, his reflection staring back at him from the glass door. 58 years old Silver creeping through his close-cropped hair, wearing the navy blazer his daughter Keisha had picked out for him at Macy's last week. "Dad, you can't wear your teacher clothes on a date," she'd said, pulling the blazer off the rack. "You need to look like you're trying." Now staring at himself, he wasn't sure trying was worth it. His phone buzzed. Another text from Keisha. "Dad, I can see your location. You've been standing outside for 7 minutes. Go inside." Marcus typed back. "How are you tracking me?" "Find my friends. I set it up last week. Go." "That's creepy." "That's love. Table 7. Blue dress. Her name is Linda. Go." Marcus shoved his phone in his pocket and pushed through the door. The restaurant hummed with Friday evening energy. Couples leaned across tables, wine glasses caught the candlelight, and somewhere a woman laughed. Really laughed, the kind of sound that made him ache for what he'd lost. Sarah had laughed like that. He scanned the room for table 7. There in the corner, a woman sat alone. Dark hair. Blue dress. Her back to him. His throat went dry. He could still leave. Text Keisha some excuse. Family emergency. Food poisoning. Alien abduction. But then he thought about last Tuesday night, eating microwaved leftovers in front of the History Channel. And he thought about Sarah's voice in his head saying, "Marcus Thompson, don't you dare waste the rest of your life being a coward." He walked toward table 7. "Sorry I'm late," Marcus said, sliding into the chair. "Traffic on the Kennedy was murder." The woman looked up from her menu. Marcus froze. She wasn't what he expected. Younger, maybe early 40s, striking green eyes, high cheekbones, and an expression of complete confusion. "I think there's been—" she started. I know. Marcus felt sweat prickling his collar. "I should have left earlier. First impressions matter, right? I teach my students that all the time. I'm Marcus. You must be Linda. Actually, I'm—" "Listen." The words tumbled out before he could stop them. "I'm going to be straight with you, because that's the only way I know how to be. My daughter set this up. Keisha. She's in medical school at UIC. She thinks I sit alone too much. Says I'm emotionally constipated. Her words, not mine. I haven't been on a date in 30 years. I'm probably going to say the wrong thing, order the wrong wine, but I promise I'm a decent guy once you get past the awkwardness." The woman's lips twitched. "I can see that, but— and I should mention I'm a high school history teacher, so I'm not rich. I coach the debate team. I drive a 10-year-old Honda. I still live in the same house in Beverly where I raised my daughter. If you're looking for fancy vacations and expensive restaurants, I'm probably not your guy. Are you finished?" The woman's eyes sparkled with something between amusement and disbelief. "Probably not. When I get nervous, I talk. It's a problem." Table for 2. A waiter appeared young and efficient. "Will anyone else be joining you?" Marcus looked at the woman. She glanced at her phone, then at Marcus. Then something shifted in her expression, a decision made in real time. "No," she said. "Just us two." The waiter nodded and disappeared. "Thank you," Marcus said. "I know I'm a disaster right now." "You're not a disaster." The woman closed her menu. "But I should probably tell you something. You're married." "No." "You're not Linda." "No, I'm not Linda." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "Oh God." "I'm Elena Rodriguez." She extended her hand across the table. "And I think you're supposed to be meeting someone else. This is table 7, but I'm waiting for my brother. He's a neurosurgeon at Northwestern, emergency surgery. He's running late." Marcus stared at her hand, then at her face. Then his gaze dropped, and he saw it, the wheelchair tucked under the table, nearly invisible in the dim lighting. "I am so sorry." He started to stand. "I should go find—" "Wait." Elena's voice stopped him. "Your Linda is over there." She nodded toward another corner, where a woman in her 50s sat checking her watch, her expression tight with annoyance. Marcus looked, then looked back at Elena. "She looks mad," Elena said. "She has a right to be." "Does she?" Elena tilted her head. "You made an honest mistake. If she's already mad before you even explain, maybe that tells you something." Marcus sat back down slowly. "You're very understanding for someone whose dinner I just crashed." "I could use the company. And honestly," Elena smiled, "you're the most entertaining thing that's happened to me in weeks. Glad I could provide comic relief." "It's not comic relief. It's honesty. When's the last time you met someone who just blurted out their whole situation without pretense? Never." "Exactly." Elena flagged down the waiter. "We'll need 2 menus, and a bottle of the Chianti Classico." Marcus watched her order with an easy confidence that seemed at odds with someone who'd just had their dinner plans hijacked by a stranger. "You don't have to do this," he said. "I know." Elena met his eyes. "But here's the thing, Marcus, and I'm guessing here because you're clearly terrible at this. You've spent the last few minutes being more genuine than most people are in a lifetime. That's worth a meal." "My wife died 5 years ago." The words came out before Marcus could stop them. "Cancer. Pancreatic. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. Keisha was 19. I've been going through the motions ever since." Elena's expression softened. "I'm sorry. Why am I telling you this?" "Because sometimes it's easier to tell a stranger. No judgment, no expectations." She paused. "My fiancé left me 7 years ago, 3 months after my car accident. That's when I got this." She gestured to the wheelchair. Marcus felt something crack open in his chest. "He left. He said all the right things, stayed for 8 months, but I could see it. Every day I watched him realize I wasn't the woman he'd proposed to. I was different, broken, a burden." Elena's voice stayed steady, but Marcus heard the old pain underneath. "Finally, I told him to leave. Easier than watching him pretend." "That's not broken," Marcus said. "That's brave." "Is it?" Elena looked away. "Sometimes, I'm not sure." The waiter arrived with wine, poured 2 glasses, disappeared again. Marcus raised his glass. "To wrong tables." Elena laughed that same kind of laugh he'd heard when he walked in. "To wrong tables." They drank. "So," Elena said. "History teacher. What do you teach?" "American history. Junior year. I also run the debate team. 28 years at Englewood Prep." "That's dedication." "That's stubbornness. I had offers to go into administration, but I like the classroom. I like the kids. Some of them come from nothing rough neighborhoods, broken homes, and they need someone to believe they can be more than their circumstances." "You sound like my father." Elena's voice went soft. "He was a construction worker, built half the buildings downtown. Always said his job was more than concrete and steel. It was giving people safe places to live and work." Past tense. "He passed 3 years after my accident. Heart attack. He wore himself out taking care of me." "Or," Marcus said carefully, "he spent his last years doing exactly what he wanted, taking care of someone he loved." Elena's eyes glistened. "That's kind of you to say." "It's true." Marcus took another sip of wine. "Parents don't see taking care of their kids as burden. It's purpose." "What about you?" "You said Keisha's in medical school." "2nd year. She's brilliant, terrifying. She gets that from her mother." Marcus smiled. "Sarah was a lawyer. Corporate litigation. She could demolish an opponent in court and then come home and help Keisha with her homework without missing a beat. She sounds remarkable." "She was." Marcus stared into his wine. "The worst part wasn't losing her. It was watching her lose herself. Near the end, she didn't recognize me. The morphine and the disease just took her piece by piece. Some days I'd sit beside her hospital bed and she'd think I was her father, or her brother, or a stranger." "Marcus." Elena reached across the table. Her hand covered his. That's awful. Keisha was there, through all of it. She was supposed to be enjoying college dating being young. Instead, she was watching her mother die. I'll never forgive myself for that. It's not your fault. Logically, I know that. Emotionally, he shook his head. I'm still working on it. They ordered food. Elena chose an Italian, which made the waiter's whole face light up. She recommended dishes, explained ingredients, and Marcus found himself watching her hands as she talked expressive, confident, alive. You speak Italian, he said when the waiter left. My grandmother was from Naples. She lived with us growing up. Taught me to cook, to speak, to curse properly. Elena grinned. That last part came in handy after my accident. I can imagine. What about you? Where's your family from? My grandfather came up from Alabama during the Great Migration, 1940s. He worked at the stockyards. My father was a postal worker. My mother taught elementary school. Very working class, very South Side. Beverly. That's a nice neighborhood. It is. Sarah and I bought the house right after Keisha was born. 3 bedrooms, small yard. We were going to sell it once Keisha graduated, buy something smaller, maybe travel. His voice trailed off. That didn't happen. And now I rattle around in a house full of memories. Keisha says I should sell, move downtown, start fresh. But I can't. Not yet. Elena nodded. I get that. After my accident, everyone wanted me to move. Get something more accessible, they said. Something on one level. But I stayed in my condo. 4th floor walk-up. I had to install a stair lift, but I stayed. Why? Because it was mine. Because giving it up felt like admitting defeat. She paused. Does that make sense? Complete sense. The food arrived. They ate. They talked. Marcus couldn't remember the last time conversation had flowed this easily. Elena asked questions that made him think. She laughed at his terrible jokes. She challenged him when he got too pessimistic about his students' chances. You can't give up on them, she said, pointing her fork at him. They need someone who believes they're worth saving. I don't give up, I just see the odds. The odds are garbage. The odds say a girl from the West Side with no college fund and a brother in prison shouldn't become a doctor. But Keisha did. Marcus blinked. How did you... You mentioned she's at UIC. Medical school costs money. You mentioned you're barely making ends meet. Which means she got scholarships. Which means she beat the odds. Elena leaned forward. Am I wrong? No. Marcus felt something warm spreading through his chest. You're not wrong. Then stop seeing the odds. Start seeing the possibilities. You sound like a teacher. I'm an architect. I design accessible buildings. It's my job to see possibilities where others see limitations. That must be satisfying work. It is, mostly. Elena's expression clouded. After my accident, my firm, the big prestigious firm I'd worked at for 8 years, suddenly didn't have room for me. They were restructuring. They were eliminating my position. It was all very polite, very legal, very devastating. That's discrimination. That's reality. I could have sued, but I didn't have the energy. Instead, I started my own practice. Now I work with hospitals, schools, community centers, anywhere people need spaces that work for everyone, not just the able-bodied. That's incredible. It's survival. Elena took a sip of wine. You do what you have to do. Adapt or die. Marcus studied her face, the set of her jaw, the determination in her eyes. You're remarkable, you know that. I'm stubborn. Same thing. Elena laughed. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and sighed. My brother. He's going to be another hour. Complications. Do you need to go? No, I just need to tell him not to rush. She typed quickly, then set her phone down. What about you? Shouldn't you go find Linda? Marcus glanced over at the other table. Linda was gone. "I think I've been stood up," he said. "Can't imagine why." Elena's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You only abandoned her for another woman." "I didn't." Marcus stopped. "Okay, I did. That's awful. It's honest. You made a choice. I made a mistake. Did you—" Elena leaned back. "Because from where I'm sitting, you seem pretty happy with your mistake." Marcus couldn't argue with that. They ordered dessert. Tiramisu for Elena, cannoli for Marcus. They split both and argued playfully about which was better. "You're wrong," Elena said. "Tiramisu is clearly superior. You're biased because your grandmother made it. I'm biased because I have taste," says the woman who put pineapple on pizza. "That was one time, and I was trying to be adventurous." They were laughing when a tall, well-dressed man approached the table. Late 40s, expensive watch surgeon's hands. "Elena." His voice carried authority and concern in equal measure. "I'm so sorry. The surgery took longer than—" He stopped noticing Marcus. "Who's this?" "Carlos. This is Marcus. Marcus, my brother Carlos." Carlos didn't offer his hand. His dark eyes assessed Marcus with the precision of someone used to making life-or-death decisions. "Marcus." Carlos's tone was neutral, but his body language wasn't. "And how do you two know each other?" "We just met," Marcus said honestly. "I sat at the wrong table by mistake." "A mistake?" Carlos repeated the word like he was examining it for hidden meaning. "Elena, can I talk to you privately?" "Carlos, please." Elena's jaw tightened, but she wheeled away from the table. Marcus watched them move to the bar area, watched Carlos lean down, watched Elena's posture stiffen. He couldn't hear the words, but he could read the tension. Carlos gesturing toward Marcus. Elena shaking her head. Carlos's voice rising slightly. Elena's hand cutting through the air in a gesture that said, "Enough." Finally, Elena wheeled back. 2 spots of color blazed on her cheeks. "Everything okay?" Marcus asked. "My brother thinks I should be more careful about talking to strangers." Elena's voice was tight. "He's concerned about my safety." "That's understandable." He also mentioned that his colleague Dr. Patterson is single and would be a much more appropriate dinner companion. Marcus felt something cold settle in his stomach. "Ah. He means well. Does he?" Elena met his eyes. "He's been protective since my accident, sometimes too protective. He forgets I'm 42, not 12. He's your brother. He loves you." "I know." Elena twisted her napkin. "But love shouldn't feel like a cage." Marcus glanced at Carlos, who stood at the bar, watching them with an expression that mixed concern and disapproval. "I should go," Marcus said. "I've caused enough trouble for one night." "No." Elena's hand shot out, catching his wrist. "Don't let him chase you away." "I'm not. I'm being respectful. He's your family." "And what are you?" The question hung between them. "A mistake," Marcus said softly. "A happy mistake, but still a mistake." "Marcus!" He stood, pulling out his wallet. "Let me at least pay for dinner." "You don't have to. I want to." He left cash on the table, too much probably, but he didn't care. Then he looked at Elena, really looked at her. "Thank you. For tonight. For the conversation. For seeing past the awkward mess I was when I sat down." "Marcus, wait." Elena's voice stopped him. "Can I have your number?" Carlos appeared at her shoulder. "Elena, I don't think—" "I wasn't asking you." Elena kept her eyes on Marcus. "Can I have your number, please?" Marcus pulled out his phone. They exchanged numbers. His fingers shook slightly as he typed. "Text me when you get home," Elena said, "so I know you made it safe." "I will." He walked toward the door, aware of Carlos watching, aware of Elena's eyes on his back. At the threshold, he turned back. Elena raised her hand, a small wave, a promise of something unfinished. Marcus pushed through the door into the Chicago night, his phone already buzzing with a text from Keisha. How did it go? He stared at the message. Then he looked back through the restaurant window at Elena still sitting at table 7. I sat at the wrong table, he typed. Dad, no. And met the right woman. His phone rang immediately. Keisha's face filled the screen. Dad, what are you talking about? What happened to Linda? Marcus started walking toward his car. The phone pressed to his ear, and he told his daughter about the woman in the wheelchair who'd let a stranger crash her dinner, who'd spoken Italian and made him laugh, who'd seen past his nervous rambling to something worth knowing. Dad, Keisha said when he finished, that's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. It's a mess. It's perfect. He heard the smile in her voice. Are you going to see her again? Marcus reached his car, unlocked it, sat in the driver's seat. His phone buzzed with a new text. From Elena. Home safe. He smiled, started typing. Not yet, but I will be. Another buzz. Thank you for tonight. For seeing me. Really seeing me. Marcus's throat tightened. He typed back slowly, carefully. Thank you for letting me stay. For not throwing me out when you realized I was an idiot. You're not an idiot. You're honest. That's rare. Coffee tomorrow. Somewhere wheelchair accessible. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Yes. Millennium Park. 10 a.m. There's a cafe. I'll be there. At the right table this time. Marcus laughed out loud in his empty car. I'll try. He drove home through Friday night traffic, his mind racing. Sarah's voice echoed in his head, but it wasn't sad anymore. It was encouraging. It was saying, go Marcus. Live. Love. Don't waste this. When he pulled into his driveway in Beverly, the house looked different somehow. Less empty, less like a tomb. He sat in the car for a moment, phone in hand, Elena's number glowing on the screen. Then he typed one more message. I'm glad I sat at the wrong table. Her response came immediately. Me too. Marcus went inside, changed into his pajamas, brushed his teeth. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, too wired to sleep. His phone buzzed one more time. Carlos just lectured me for an hour. Worth it. Marcus smiled in the darkness. Same. Keisha thinks I'm crazy. Are you? He thought about that. About Sarah. About 5 years of grief. About one night with a stranger who didn't feel like a stranger at all. Maybe, he typed. But the good kind of crazy. The best kind. Marcus set his phone on the nightstand, closed his eyes. And for the first time in 5 years, he fell asleep thinking about tomorrow instead of yesterday. Marcus arrived at Millennium Park 20 minutes early. He'd changed his shirt 3 times, finally settling on a simple blue button-down that Keisha had once said made his eyes look warm. Now standing by the cafe entrance, he wondered if warm eyes mattered or if he was being ridiculous. His phone buzzed. Keisha again. Stop fidgeting. I can feel your anxiety from here. How do you even know I'm fidgeting? Because I know you, Dad. Deep breath. Be yourself. That worked last night. Marcus typed back. Last night was an accident. So is penicillin. Still saved millions of lives. He was smiling at his daughter's text when he saw Elena wheeling toward him along the lakefront path. She wore a cream-colored sweater and jeans, her dark hair loose around her shoulders. The morning sun caught the side of her face, and Marcus forgot to breathe for a second. You're early, she called out. So are you. I was nervous. That makes 2 of us. Elena reached him, and they stood there for a moment, neither quite sure how to greet each other. Handshake hug. The awkwardness from last night crept back in. Coffee, Marcus finally said. Please, I've been up since 5. Couldn't sleep. My brother called me at midnight, then again at 2, then again at 4:30. Marcus held the cafe door open. Let me guess. He had concerns. He had a list, single-spaced. He actually texted me a list. Elena wheeled through the doorway. Number 1. You don't know anything about this man. Number 2. He could be dangerous. Number 3, and this is my favorite, what kind of man crashes someone else's dinner? A man who can't read table numbers, apparently. Elena laughed, and the sound dissolved some of Marcus's tension. They ordered at the counter, large coffee for him, cappuccino for her. Marcus reached for his wallet, but Elena was faster. My turn, she said. You paid for dinner. I crashed your dinner. Payment was the least I could do. And I'm buying coffee because I want to, not because I have to. She handed her card to the barista. Marcus, I need you to understand something. I don't need a man to pay for things. I have my own money. I have my own business. What I need is someone who sees me as an equal, not a charity case. The words landed like a punch. Marcus stepped back. I didn't mean... I know you didn't. Elena's voice softened. But you'd be surprised how many men assume that because I'm in a wheelchair I need saving. They want to be the hero. They want to swoop in and fix me. But I'm not broken, Marcus. I'm just different. I know that. Do you... She tilted her head, studying him. Because last night when Carlos showed up you looked guilty, like you'd done something wrong by having dinner with me. Marcus accepted his coffee from the barista, buying time to formulate his thoughts. They moved to a table by the window overlooking the park. You're right, he said finally. I did feel guilty. Not because of you, because of him. Your brother loves you. He's protective. And there I was, some random man taking advantage of a situation. You didn't take advantage. I invited you to stay. But he doesn't know that. From his perspective, I'm suspicious at best. Elena sipped her cappuccino. Carlos has been trying to run my life since my accident. He means well, but he treats me like I'm fragile, like I might shatter if someone looks at me wrong. He's scared. I know, but his fear is suffocating me. She set down her cup. After my fiancé left, Carlos went into overdrive. He wanted me to move in with him. When I refused, he hired a home health aide to check on me daily. When I fired the aide, he started calling 3 times a day. It's exhausting. He lost your parents. You're all he has left. And I lost them too. Plus my fiancé. Plus my career. Plus my ability to walk. But I'm still here, Marcus. I'm still living. Carlos wants to wrap me in bubble wrap and keep me safe, but that's not living. That's existing. Marcus thought about Keisha, about the months after Sarah died, when his daughter had called, constantly checked in, obsessively treated him, like he might disappear if she looked away. After Sarah died, Keisha did the same thing, he said. She'd call between classes, show up unannounced. One time I found her sleeping in her car outside my house because she was worried I might hurt myself. Would you have... The question was direct, unflinching. Marcus considered lying. Then he remembered Elena's words about honesty. I thought about it. Once. I was standing in the bathroom at 3 a.m, pills in my hand, thinking about how easy it would be to just stop. Stop hurting. Stop missing her. Just stop. What stopped you? Keisha. I heard her voice in my head, and I thought about what it would do to her. She'd already lost her mother. I couldn't make her lose me too. He met Elena's eyes. So I flushed the pills, called my doctor the next morning, got help. That took courage. That took desperation. There's a difference. Is there? Elena leaned forward. I think they're often the same thing. We find courage when we're desperate enough to need it. They drank their coffee in comfortable silence. Around them the cafe buzzed with Saturday morning energy. Families, couples, joggers stopping for fuel. Normal people living normal lives. Can I ask you something? Marcus said. Anything. Your fiancé. What was his name? Elena's fingers tightened around her cup. David Chen. We met at the architecture firm. He was in corporate development. Smart, ambitious. Everyone thought we were perfect together. What did you think? I thought he loved me. I thought we were building something real. She stared into her coffee. Then the accident happened and I saw the truth. He loved the idea of me, the successful architect with the perfect body who could keep up with his lifestyle. When that version of me disappeared, so did his love. That's not love, that's transaction. I know that now. But at the time it destroyed me. Not just losing him, but realizing I'd wasted 6 years on someone who only loved me conditionally. Sarah loved me unconditionally, Marcus said quietly. Even when I was broke in grad school. Even when I wanted to quit teaching. Even when I was difficult and stubborn and impossible. She stayed. She fought for us. That's how I know what real love looks like. Do you think you'll ever find that again? The question hung between them, weighted with possibility and fear. I don't know, Marcus said honestly. Part of me thinks what Sarah and I had was lightning in a bottle, once in a lifetime. The other part thinks maybe I'm scared to try because what if I'm right? What if I never find it again? Or, Elena said softly, what if you're wrong? What if there's more than one person in the world who could love you like that? Their eyes met, and Marcus felt something shift in his chest. It wasn't the desperate, all-consuming love he'd felt for Sarah. It was quieter, gentler, but no less real. His phone rang. Keisha's face filled the screen. Sorry, he said to Elena. My daughter. She's probably checking if I've embarrassed myself yet. Answer it. I need a refill anyway. Marcus accepted the call as Elena wheeled toward the counter. Hey, baby girl. Dad, don't panic, but Carlos Rodriguez just called me. Marcus's blood ran cold. What? Elena's brother. He tracked me down through your school. He wanted to know about you, your background, your intentions. It was very overprotective father interrogating the prom date. What did you tell him? The truth. That you're a good man who's been grieving for 5 years, and that Elena is the first person who's made you smile since Mom died. Keisha paused. He didn't seem convinced. Great. But Dad, I also told him that if he really loves his sister, he should want her to be happy, not safe. There's a difference. Marcus watched Elena at the counter, laughing at something the barista said. When did you get so wise? I have a good teacher. He heard the smile in Keisha's voice. Now go. Be present. Stop worrying about what Carlos thinks, and focus on what you think. I think I'm terrified. Good. That means it matters. Elena returned with 2 fresh cups. Everything okay? She asked. Carlos called my daughter. Elena's face went pale. He what? He tracked her down, wanted to vet me. Oh my God. Elena set down the cups with shaking hands. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I'll talk to him. This is completely inappropriate. It's fine. It's not fine. He had no right. Elena. Marcus reached across the table, his hand hovering near hers. Not touching, but close. He loves you. He's scared. I get it. You're not angry. I'm a high school teacher. I've dealt with worse interrogations from parents. He smiled. Besides, Keisha handled it. She's tougher than both of us combined. Elena's shoulders relaxed slightly. I like her already. She'd like you too. They drank their new coffees. The tension gradually dissolved back into the easy conversation from the night before. They talked about Elena's work, about a new accessible community center she was designing. They talked about Marcus's debate team, about the regional competition coming up. They talked about everything and nothing the way people do when they're trying to learn each other's rhythms. Can I show you something? Elena asked after their cups were empty. Of course. She pulled out her phone, scrolled through photos, then handed it to him. The screen showed an architectural rendering, a building with wide doors, ramped entrances, and clever design elements that made accessibility beautiful instead of an afterthought. This is the community center, she said. It's in Pilsen, the neighborhood where I grew up. My father worked on half the buildings there, but none of them are accessible. People in wheelchairs, people with walkers, people with invisible disabilities, they're shut out. This project changes that. Marcus zoomed in on the details. This is incredible. It's personal. After my accident, I couldn't go to my favorite bakery anymore. Couldn't visit my childhood church. Couldn't access the library where I'd spent every Saturday as a kid. I was erased from my own neighborhood. Her voice tightened. This building says disabled people matter. We exist. We deserve spaces that welcome us. When does construction start? That's the problem. We have the design. We have the community support. What we don't have is funding. The city approved grants, but they're not enough. We need private donors, and most of them don't see accessibility as a priority. How much? 300,000. We're short 300,000. Marcus whistled. That's significant. It's impossible. Elena took back her phone. But I keep trying anyway. Because the alternative is giving up, and I've given up enough in my life. They left the cafe and walked Marcus, walking Elena, wheeling along the lakefront. The October air carried the scent of autumn leaves and lake water. Joggers passed them. Dogs chased balls. Life happened around them in all its messy, beautiful chaos. Tell me about your house, Elena said. The one you can't leave. Marcus thought about the 3-bedroom bungalow with Sarah's paintings still on the walls, her books still on the shelves, her presents still in every corner. It's frozen in time, he said. Keisha keeps telling me to update it, repaint, replace the furniture, but I can't. It feels like erasing her. You know she's not in the house, right? Logically, yes. Emotionally, I'm not ready to let go. Elena stopped wheeling. Marcus stopped walking. Can I tell you what I see? She asked. Please. I see a man who loved his wife deeply, who honors her memory by staying true to who she was. But I also see a man who's punishing himself, who thinks moving forward means forgetting her. And that's not true, Marcus. You can love Sarah and still live. You can remember her and still make new memories. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Marcus felt his throat tighten. How do you know that? Because I had to learn it too. After my accident, I wanted to die. Not actively, but passively. I stopped caring about physical therapy. Stopped eating properly. Stopped trying. I thought if I couldn't have my old life, why bother with any life? What changed? My father. He sat beside my bed one night and said, Mija, you're not dead. Stop acting like you are. Your legs don't work, but your heart does. Your mind does. Your hands do. So use them. Elena's eyes shone with tears. He didn't let me wallow. He forced me to live. And eventually, living didn't feel like punishment anymore. It felt like possibility. They continued along the path. Marcus wanted to reach for her hand, but wasn't sure if he should. The moment felt fragile, like the wrong move might shatter it. Can I ask you something personal? Elena said. After everything we've shared, I think we're past worrying about personal. When you look at me, what do you see? Marcus stopped, turned to face her, really looked at her. I see a woman who speaks Italian and designs buildings, who's funny and sharp and doesn't take crap from anyone, who makes me laugh, who makes me think, who challenges me. He paused. I see Elena. Just Elena. Not the wheelchair. Not the disability. Just you. You're the first person who's ever said that. Then everyone else is blind. Elena's smile was radiant and heartbreaking at once. Marcus Thompson, you're dangerous. How so? Because you make me hope, and hope is terrifying. They found a bench overlooking the lake. Marcus sat. Elena positioned her wheelchair beside him. They watched the water for a while, not talking, just existing in each other's presence. My mother would have loved you, Marcus said eventually. Tell me about her. Loretta Thompson, elementary school teacher, toughest woman I ever met. She grew up in Jim Crow, Mississippi, came to Chicago during the Great Migration when she was 17. Worked 3 jobs to put herself through college. She used to say, "Marcus, the world's going to try to make you small. Don't let it. Stand tall. Speak truth. Love hard." She sounds amazing. She was. She died when Keisha was 10. Heart attack. Sudden. One day she was teaching first grade, the next day she was gone. Marcus rubbed his face. I think about her all the time. About what she'd say about the last 5 years. About me hiding in that house. What do you think she'd say? She'd say, "Boy, Sarah would be ashamed of you. She loved life. She'd want you to love it too." Marcus laughed bitterly. And she'd be right. My father would say something similar, Elena said. He'd say, "Mija, that man sees you. Don't run from that. Run toward it." They sat in silence again. Marcus felt the weight of possibility pressing down on him. This could be something. This connection, this feeling, this woman beside him. It could be real, but real meant risk. Real meant opening himself up to loss again. "I'm scared," he admitted. "Of what?" "Of this, of you, of caring about someone and losing them again. I don't know if I can survive that twice." Elena reached over and took his hand. Her fingers were warm, strong. "Marcus, I can't promise you won't lose me. I can't promise forever. None of us can. But I can promise that I'm here now. And right now is all we really have." He looked at their joined hands, hers pale against his darker skin, different but fitting together perfectly. "When did you get so wise?" he asked. "Suffering teaches you things. You either learn or you break. I chose to learn." Marcus's phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. "You should check that," Elena said. He pulled it out. 2 texts from Keisha. Carlos called again. He wants to meet you. In person. Tomorrow. The second text read, "He sounded serious, Dad. Like job interview serious." Marcus showed Elena the texts. "You don't have to," she said quickly. "I'll talk to him. Tell him to back off." "No, I'll meet him." "Marcus, he's your brother. He loves you. If I'm serious about getting to know you, and I am, then I need to face Carlos. Answer his questions. Prove I'm not some creep who preys on vulnerable women." "You're not?" "He doesn't know that, and honestly, if I were him, I'd be suspicious too. Man crashes my sister's dinner, doesn't leave when asked, stays for hours. That looks bad from the outside." Elena squeezed his hand. "You're too understanding." "I'm a father, I get it." They exchanged numbers with Carlos through Elena. The meeting was set for Sunday afternoon at Carlos's house in Lincoln Park. "I should warn you," Elena said as they walked back toward the cafe. "Carlos is intense. He's going to grill you. Ask about your finances, your background, your intentions." "What are my intentions?" Elena stopped, looked up at him. "What do you want them to be?" Marcus thought about the question. About Sarah. About 5 years of loneliness. About this woman who'd appeared in his life like a miracle disguised as a mistake. "I want to know you," he said carefully. "I want to take you to dinner again. I want to hear about your projects. I want to meet you for coffee and talk for hours. I want to see where this goes. That's all. That's everything." Elena's smile was slow, cautious, but genuine. "Okay, then we'll see where it goes." They said goodbye at the cafe entrance. Marcus wanted to kiss her, but wasn't sure if it was too soon. Elena seemed to sense his hesitation. "I had a wonderful time," she said. "Even though my daughter's boyfriend's sister is now being interrogated by your brother. Especially because of that." She laughed. "It means this is real. Real is messy. Real is terrifying. Real is worth it." Marcus watched her wheel away along the lakefront path until she disappeared into the Saturday afternoon crowd. Then he walked to his car, got in, and sat there for a full 10 minutes, his hands shaking slightly on the steering wheel. His phone rang. Keisha. How was it? Good, great, terrifying. So you like her? I do, which makes it worse because now I have something to lose again. Dad? Keisha's voice went gentle. You've always had something to lose. You have me. You have your students. You have your life. Caring about Elena doesn't change that. It adds to it. When did you get so smart? I learned from the best. Marcus drove home through familiar streets. The house waited for him full of memories and ghosts. But this time, when he walked through the door, it didn't feel quite so suffocating. He spent the evening grading papers and thinking about Elena, about her laugh, about the way she'd challenged him, about the possibility of something new. His phone buzzed around 8. Elena. Made it home. Carlos is still lecturing me. Send help. Marcus smiled, typed back. Tell him I'm looking forward to our meeting tomorrow. You're insane. Probably. But you seem worth the insanity. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Marcus Thompson, you're going to break my heart. Or you'll break mine. Even odds. Even odds. He fell asleep that night with his phone on the nightstand, Elena's last text glowing on the screen. Good night, Marcus. Thank you for seeing me. He'd typed back, thank you for letting me. Sunday morning arrived with crisp air and anxiety. Marcus changed clothes 4 times before settling on khakis and a button-down. Professional, but not stuffy. Respectful, but not trying too hard. Keisha called at 9. Dad, relax. How do you know I'm not relaxed? Because I know you. You're pacing. You've changed clothes multiple times. You've probably rehearsed what you're going to say. I have not rehearsed. Liar. Marcus smiled despite himself. Okay, maybe a little. Don't. Just be yourself. That's who Elena likes. Elena's not the one I'm worried about. Carlos will come around. He's a doctor. He's trained to be skeptical. Show him who you are and he'll see what Elena sees. And if he doesn't, then he's an idiot. But I don't think he is. Marcus arrived at Carlos's house in Lincoln Park at 2 o'clock exactly. The brownstone was immaculate, expensive, intimidating. He rang the bell. Carlos opened the door. Up close, he was even more imposing, tall fit, with the kind of presence that commanded respect and compliance. Mr. Thompson? Dr. Rodriguez, thank you for meeting with me. Carlos stepped aside. Come in. The interior matched the exterior. Everything perfect, everything in its place. Medical journals on the coffee table, diplomas on the walls, photos of Elena and Carlos with their parents back when Elena could still walk. Coffee, Carlos offered. Please. They sat in the living room. Carlos poured from an expensive-looking espresso machine, handed Marcus a cup, sat across from him with the posture of a man conducting an inquisition. I'll be direct, Carlos said. I don't know you. I don't know your intentions with my sister, and I don't like that she's making decisions about you without proper information. That's fair. Is it? Carlos leaned forward. Because from where I sit, you took advantage of a situation. You crashed her dinner. You stayed for hours. And now she's talking about you like you're something special when you're just a stranger who can't read table numbers. Marcus set down his coffee cup carefully. You're right, he said. I am a stranger. And I did crash her dinner. But I didn't take advantage. Your sister is a grown woman, capable of making her own decisions. She chose to let me stay. She chose to have dinner with me. She chose to give me her number and meet me for coffee. I didn't manipulate her. I didn't pressure her. I just showed up and was honest. Honest about what? About being lost. About being scared. About not having done this in 30 years and having no idea what I'm doing. Marcus met Carlos's eyes. Your sister responded to that honesty. Maybe because she recognizes it. Maybe because she's tired of people treating her like she's fragile. Carlos's jaw tightened. You don't know anything about what my sister's been through. You're right. But I know loss. I know grief. I know what it's like to watch someone you love suffer and feel helpless to stop it. My wife died of cancer 5 years ago. It took 6 months. 6 months of watching her disappear piece by piece. So don't tell me I don't understand pain. The room went quiet. Carlos's expression shifted slightly, not softening but reconsidering. I'm sorry about your wife, Carlos said finally. And I'm sorry about your sister's accident, about her fiancé leaving, about everything she's been through. But Carlos, she's still here. She's still living. And she deserves to make her own choices about who she spends time with. Even if those choices might hurt her. Especially then, because preventing pain means preventing life. And I don't think Elena wants to just exist safely. I think she wants to live fully. Carlos stood, walked to the window, stared out at the street. She's all I have left, he said quietly. Our parents are gone. Our extended family is in Mexico. It's just us. And after her accident, after David left, I swore I'd protect her. I swore no one would hurt her again. But you can't protect her from everything, Marcus said gently. And trying to control her life isn't protection. It's suffocation. Carlos turned. She said the same thing. Then maybe you should listen. They stood there, two men who loved the same woman in different ways trying to find common ground. What do you want from her? Carlos asked. I don't know yet. I want to know her. I want to spend time with her. I want to see if this connection we felt over dinner was real, or just loneliness making us desperate. And if it's real, then I'll be grateful for whatever time we have. And if it's not, I'll walk away without making her feel guilty about it. Carlos studied him for a long moment. Then slowly he nodded. Okay. Okay. I'm not saying I trust you. I'm not saying I approve, but I'm saying I'll give you a chance. Hurt her and you'll deal with me. Understood? Understood. They shook hands. Carlos's grip was firm testing. She talks about you, Carlos admitted as he walked Marcus to the door. She hasn't talked about anyone like that since David. That scares me. It scares me too. Good. Fear keeps us careful. Marcus left the brownstone feeling like he'd survived a trial. His phone buzzed immediately. Elena. How did it go? Are you alive? Did he threaten you? Alive, only mildly threatened. I think we reached an understanding. Which is? He's giving me a chance, and if I hurt you, he'll make me regret it. That sounds about right. Are you okay with that? 3 dots appeared, a long pause. Then, I'm okay with anything that lets me keep seeing you. Marcus sat in his car, reading that text over and over. Then he typed back. Dinner this week. Somewhere we're both supposed to be this time. Tuesday. There's a Thai place in Andersonville. Fully accessible. Amazing food. It's a date. A real one this time. The realest. Marcus drove home feeling lighter than he had in years. The house was still full of Sarah's things. The memories were still there. But they didn't feel quite so heavy anymore. He walked through the rooms touching familiar objects. Sarah's favorite chair, the bookshelf they'd built together, the photos on the walls. I think you'd like her, he said to the empty house. She's strong, like you were strong. She makes me laugh. She makes me want to try again. Is that okay? Am I allowed to feel this way? The house didn't answer. But in the silence, Marcus felt something shift. Not Sarah's voice exactly, but something like permission, like grace. His phone buzzed one more time that night. Elena. I'm glad you sat at the wrong table, Marcus Thompson. He typed back, fingers, steady, heart full. So am I, Elena Rodriguez. So am I. Tuesday arrived wrapped in cold rain that turned Chicago's streets into mirrors reflecting streetlights and brake lights. Marcus stood in his classroom after the final bell watching students file out while pretending to organize papers he'd already organized twice. His phone sat on the desk, Elena's last text still on the screen from lunch. "Still on for tonight, I promise not to judge your spice tolerance." He'd typed back, "My spice tolerance is excellent, thank you very much." "We'll see about that." Now, 2 hours before their date, Marcus was second-guessing everything. The restaurant, his outfit, his ability to have a normal conversation without bringing up death grief or his general incompetence at modern dating. "Mr. Thompson." He looked up. Jasmine Martinez stood in the doorway, one of his best debate students. 17, brilliant, heading to Northwestern next year on a full scholarship. "What's up, Jasmine? You okay? You've been weird all day. Like distracted weird, not normal teacher weird." Marcus smiled despite himself. "That obvious. You called the Treaty of Versailles the Treaty of Viagra, twice." "Oh, God." The whole class noticed. Jasmine stepped into the room, her backpack slung over one shoulder. "So what's going on, family stuff?" "Not exactly. Girl stuff." Marcus hesitated. Jasmine grinned. "It is girl stuff. Mr. Thompson has a girlfriend." "I don't have a girlfriend. I have a second date. There's a difference." "Second date is basically a girlfriend. That's the rule." Jasmine sat on a desk. "What's she like?" "Why are you so interested in my personal life?" "Because you're always in our personal lives. How many times have you asked me about college applications, about my home situation, about my anxiety?" She crossed her arms. "Turnabout's fair play, Mr. T." Marcus sat on the edge of his desk. "She's smart, funny. She challenges me. She's an architect." "She disabled?" The question caught Marcus off guard. "How did you—" "You've been researching wheelchair accessibility all week. I saw your browser history when you were projecting yesterday. Articles about ramps, accessible restaurants, adaptive equipment." Jasmine shrugged. "Either you're dating someone in a wheelchair, or you're planning to become an accessibility consultant. You're too observant for your own good." "I'm a debate champion. Observation is my job." She studied him. "You scared?" "Terrified." "Good. My mom says if you're not scared, you're not paying attention. Fear means you care." "Your mom's wise." "She is. She also says old people overthink everything." Jasmine grinned. "Just show up. Be yourself. Don't be weird." "I'm already weird." "Then be your normal level of weird, not your extra weird." She stood shouldering her backpack. "And Mr. T, I'm glad you're doing this. You've been sad for a long time. It's nice seeing you not sad." She left before Marcus could respond. He sat in the empty classroom, Jasmine's words echoing. "You've been sad for a long time." Out of the mouths of babes. His phone buzzed. Keisha this time. "Dad, stop overthinking. I can feel you overthinking from UIC." "I'm not overthinking." "You're absolutely overthinking. What are you wearing?" Marcus looked down at his khakis and button down. "Clothes." "Specific clothes, Dad." "The blue shirt you bought me. Dark jeans. The nice ones without holes." "Good. Now leave. You're going to be early, but that's better than late. It's only 4:30. We're not meeting until 6. So go home, change, and drive there. Traffic's going to be horrible in this rain. Trust me." Marcus did trust her. He gathered his things, locked his classroom, and headed out to the parking lot where his Honda sat under a growing puddle. The rain had intensified, drumming on the roof as he drove through rush-hour traffic that crawled along Western Avenue. Keisha was right. It took an hour to get to Andersonville, and by the time Marcus found parking near the Thai restaurant, he was already 10 minutes late. He texted Elena as he ran through the rain. "I'm so sorry. Traffic was a nightmare. I'm 2 blocks away." "No worries. I'm inside. Take your time." Marcus burst through the restaurant door, dripping and breathless. Elena sat at a table near the back, her wheelchair tucked under a menu open in front of her. She looked up and started laughing. "You're soaked." Chicago decided to test my commitment. Marcus tried to smooth his wet hair. Failed. "I'm sorry I'm late." "You're fine. Sit. Dry off." The waiter brought extra napkins when he saw you running up the street. Marcus slid into the seat across from her. A stack of paper napkins waited beside his silverware. He mopped his face, his neck, his hands. "This is not how I planned this evening to start." "Plans are overrated." Elena smiled. "Besides, I like that you ran. Shows dedication. Shows poor umbrella ownership." "That too." The waiter appeared young and efficient. Marcus ordered Thai iced tea. Elena already had one half finished, the orange color bright against the white tablecloth. "How was your day?" Elena asked. "I called a major historical treaty the wrong name. Twice. In front of 30 teenagers. Your turn." Elena laughed. "I had a meeting with potential donors for the community center. Very wealthy couple from Winnetka. They spent an hour telling me how inspirational I am and how brave I am for not letting my disability stop me. Then they wrote a check for $5,000. That's good, isn't it? It's condescending. They didn't donate because they believe in the project. They donated because I'm their feel-good charity case." Elena took a sip of her tea. "I smiled. I thanked them. I deposited their check. And then I came home and screamed into a pillow for 10 minutes. You can't scream at donors who give you money." "I know. That's why I waited until I got home." She set down her glass. "Sorry, that's a terrible way to start a date. Let me try again. How was your day, Marcus?" "You don't have to pretend. I asked. You answered honestly. That's what I like about you." "What else do you like about me?" The question was playful, but carried weight underneath. Marcus thought about his answer. "You don't treat me like I'm fragile," he said. "After Sarah died, everyone handled me with kid gloves. They spoke in quiet voices. They avoided mentioning her name. They acted like I might shatter if they said the wrong thing. But you don't do that. You're direct, real. I can breathe around you." Elena's expression softened. "You don't treat me like I'm broken. Everyone since my accident has either pitied me or infantilized me. They speak slowly like I'm hard of hearing. They reach for my wheelchair without asking. They make decisions for me without consulting me. But you see me as whole, as capable. That's rare." "You are capable." "I know, but most people don't believe it." They ordered food. Pad Thai for Elena. Green curry for Marcus, medium spice, despite Elena's warning that Thai medium was actually hot. The food arrived quickly, steaming and fragrant. Marcus took his first bite. His eyes watered immediately. "I warned you," Elena said, not even trying to hide her amusement. "It's fine." Marcus reached for his water. "Perfectly fine." "Your face is red." "That's just my natural coloring." "You're sweating." "I run hot." Elena pushed her pad thai toward him. "Trade, before you burn a hole in your stomach." "I can handle it." "Marcus, your masculinity isn't threatened by admitting Thai medium is too spicy. Trade." He traded. The pad thai was perfect, flavorful, without being painful. He ate 3 bites before admitting defeat. "You were right." "I usually am." Elena took a bite of the curry unbothered. "My father was Mexican. I grew up eating chiles that would make this curry look like ketchup." Show off. Realist. They ate and talked. Elena told him about growing up in Pilsen, about helping her father on construction sites during summer breaks, about learning to read blueprints before she could read chapter books. Marcus told her about growing up on the South Side, about his mother's classroom, about the first time he realized teaching was what he was meant to do. "I was student teaching at a high school in Englewood," Marcus said. "Rough school, rough kids. My supervising teacher told me on day 1, half these kids won't graduate. Quarter will end up in jail. Your job is to reach the few who have a chance." I thought she was cynical. Then I met the students. And she was wrong. They all had a chance. They just needed someone to believe in them. So I started an after-school program. Debate club. Most teachers thought I was wasting my time, but 12 kids showed up that first day. 12 kids who could barely put together an argument. By the end of the year, we competed in regionals. Didn't win, but we competed. And all 12 graduated. How many went to college? 9. 3 got full scholarships. One of them just finished his PhD at MIT. He teaches engineering now. Sends me a Christmas card every year. Elena reached across the table, took his hand. That's beautiful. That's proof that people rise to the expectations you set for them. You expect nothing. You get nothing. You expect greatness. Sometimes they surprise you. Is that what you're doing with me? Expecting greatness? Marcus squeezed her hand. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just grateful you're here. Their food sat forgotten as they talked. The restaurant filled with dinner crowd noise, conversations, laughter, the clatter of dishes. But their table felt separate, insulated, like the world had shrunk to just the two of them. Can I ask you something? Marcus said. Always. Your ex-fiancé, David. Do you ever regret how it ended? Elena was quiet for a moment. I regret wasting 6 years on someone who couldn't see past my body to my heart. I regret believing him when he said he loved me unconditionally, when what he meant was, I love you as long as you're convenient. But do I regret ending it? No. Staying would have killed me. Not physically, but emotionally. I would have spent the rest of my life being someone's burden, someone's obligation. I'd rather be alone. You're not alone now. No. She met his eyes. I'm not. Marcus's phone buzzed. He ignored it. It buzzed again. You should check that, Elena said. He pulled it out reluctantly. 2 texts from Keisha. Dad, you need to come home. Now. The second text. It's not an emergency, but it's important. Please come home. Marcus's stomach dropped. I'm sorry. My daughter, something's wrong. Go. Don't apologize. Go. Marcus threw money on the table too much, but he didn't care. I'll call you, I promise. Marcus, just go. Family first. He ran to his car, heart hammering. Called Keisha as he started the engine. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine, Dad, but we need to talk, in person, at home. Keisha, you scared me half to death. What's going on? Just come home, please. The drive to Beverly took 30 minutes that felt like hours. Marcus parked crookedly in his driveway, barely getting the key out of the ignition before he was running to the front door. Keisha sat on the couch. She wasn't alone. A young black woman sat beside her. Maybe 19-20. Thin, worn-looking with Keisha's eyes. Marcus froze. Dad, Keisha said quietly. This is Simone. She's Mom's daughter. The world tilted. Marcus grabbed the doorframe for support. What? Mom had another daughter, Keisha said, her voice trembling. Before she met you. Before me. She gave her up for adoption when she was 17. Simone found me through one of those DNA ancestry sites. She's been trying to reach out for months, but I didn't see the messages until today. Marcus looked at Simone. Really looked at her. She had Sarah's cheekbones, Sarah's nose, Sarah's way of sitting with her hands folded in her lap. I'm sorry, Simone said, her voice barely above a whisper. I know this is a shock. I didn't mean to just show up, but Keisha said you should hear this in person. Marcus walked into his own living room like a stranger, sat in Sarah's chair, stared at this girl, this woman who was somehow his wife's daughter. Sarah never told me, he said finally. She probably didn't tell anyone, Simone said. The adoption agency said it was a closed adoption. She was 17. The father was gone. Her parents were furious. They made her give me up. How did you find us? DNA test. I took it for a class project. Found Keisha. Then I found some old articles about Mom, about Sarah, about her work as a lawyer, about her death. Simone's eyes filled with tears. I never got to meet her. Marcus felt like he was underwater. Everything was muffled, distant. Dad, Keisha's voice cut through the fog. Say something. I don't know what to say. Are you angry? I don't know what I am. Marcus looked at Simone. You said you've been trying to reach Keisha for months. Yes, sir. Through the DNA site, through social media. I didn't want to intrude, but I needed to know. I needed to know where I came from. And now you know. Now I know I had a mother who was brilliant and brave, who became a lawyer, got married, had another daughter, who built a life. Simone wiped her eyes. I needed to know she was okay, that giving me up didn't ruin her. Marcus felt something crack in his chest. It didn't ruin her. She was remarkable, strong, kind, everything good. Keisha showed me pictures. She looked happy. She was. We were. Until the cancer. They sat in heavy silence. Marcus tried to process. Sarah had another daughter. A daughter she'd never mentioned in 25 years of marriage. A daughter she'd carried and birthed and given away. Did she ever try to find you? Marcus asked. The adoption agency said she requested updates for the first 5 years. Then she stopped. I think she was trying to move on. That sounds like her. Once Sarah made a decision, she committed to it. Keisha moved to sit on the arm of Marcus's chair, put her hand on his shoulder. Are you okay, Dad? I don't know. Are you... I have a sister? Keisha's voice broke. I always wanted a sister. Simone stood abruptly. I should go. This is too much. I shouldn't have come. Wait. Marcus stood too. Don't go. Not yet. I just need a minute to think. I've had months to process this. You've had 5 minutes. That's not fair to you. Life's not fair. If it was, Sarah would still be here to explain this herself. Marcus ran his hand over his face. Where are you living? Are you in school? I'm at UIC, sophomore, pre-law. Pre-law. Marcus almost laughed. Of course you are. Sarah would love that. I'm working 2 jobs to pay for it. I have some student loans, but I'm managing. 2 jobs and full-time school. I don't have a choice. My adoptive parents died in a car accident when I was 16. I've been on my own since then. Marcus looked at Keisha, then at Simone. 2 young women. Both Sarah's daughters. Both struggling. Both deserving better. Keisha, make up the guest room. Dad. Make up the guest room. Simone, you're staying here tonight. We're going to talk. Really talk. And tomorrow we're going to figure this out like a family. Because that's what we are now. Family. Simone's face crumpled. You don't have to. I know I don't have to. But Sarah would want me to. And more than that, I want to. You're her daughter. That makes you family. Keisha disappeared upstairs. Marcus heard her moving around, opening closets, pulling out sheets. He stood facing Simone, this girl who was somehow his stepdaughter, trying to find the right words. I'm sorry Sarah never told me about you, he said finally. If I'd known, I would have helped her find you, or at least tried. She probably didn't want to burden you. You're not a burden. You're a person. A person who deserves to know where she came from. Marcus sat back down heavily. God, what else didn't she tell me? Mr. Thompson. Marcus. Call me Marcus. Marcus, I don't want to mess up your life. I just wanted to know about her. About my birth mother. I didn't expect this. Neither did I, but here we are. He looked up at her. Tell me about yourself. About your life. Start at the beginning. Simone sat back down, and she talked. About growing up in Evanston with adoptive parents who loved her. About losing them in the crash. About finishing high school while living with a friend's family. About working as a barista and a tutor to pay for college. About choosing law because she'd always been drawn to justice, to fighting for people who couldn't fight for themselves. Marcus listened. And the more he listened, the more he heard Sarah in her words. The same passion. The same determination. The same refusal to be defeated by circumstances. "You're so much like her," he said when she finished. "I never got to meet her. I don't know how I could be like her. Genetics are powerful, but so is spirit. You have her spirit, Simone, that's clear." Keisha came back downstairs. "Room's ready. There are towels in the bathroom, extra blankets in the closet." "Thank you," Simone said. "Both of you. I know this is overwhelming." "Life is overwhelming," Marcus said. "We deal with it anyway." His phone buzzed. "Elena." "Is everything okay? I've been worried." Marcus had completely forgotten about her. About their interrupted dinner. About everything except the bomb that had just exploded in his living room. "I'm sorry. Family emergency. Can I call you tomorrow?" "Of course. Take care of whatever you need. I'm here when you're ready." Marcus set down his phone. Looked at his two daughters, one he'd raised, one he'd just met. "I need to tell you both something," he said. "I've been seeing someone. It's new. Very new. And this," he gestured at the three of them, "might complicate things." "Is it the architect?" Keisha asked. "How did you—" "Dad, I'm not blind. You've been different, happier. Is she nice?" "She's remarkable and patient, and probably wondering why I ran out on our date." "You should call her back," Simone said. "Explain. Don't let us ruin something good." "You're not ruining anything. Your family. Family comes first. Even family you just met 5 minutes ago. Especially family I just met 5 minutes ago." Marcus stood. "I'm going to make coffee. We're going to sit here and talk until we can't talk anymore. And tomorrow we're going to figure out how this works. All of us. Together." They stayed up until 3 in the morning. Talking, crying, laughing, sharing stories about Sarah Keisha's memories, Marcus's memories, Simone's questions about the woman who'd given birth to her, and then had to let her go. "She was funny," Keisha said. "Like wickedly funny. She could make Dad laugh until he cried." "She was fierce," Marcus added. "In court she was terrifying. Opposing counsel hated facing her." "What did she look like?" Simone asked. "I've seen pictures, but what did she really look like? How did she move? How did she sound?" Marcus closed his eyes, tried to find the words. "She had this way of tilting her head when she was thinking, like she was listening to something only she could hear. And her laugh, it started quiet, and then just exploded out of her. She couldn't help it. Pure joy." He opened his eyes. "She would have loved you, Simone. She would have been so proud of what you've become. I wish I could have known her. She's in you. I can see it. The way you sit, the way you phrase things, the way you refuse to give up." Marcus smiled. "You're her daughter. No DNA test needed. I can just tell." By the time Simone went upstairs to sleep, Marcus felt wrung out emotionally. Keisha lingered in the living room. "You okay, Dad?" "I don't know. Ask me tomorrow." This doesn't change anything about Mom. She was still the same person. Except she wasn't. She had this whole history I knew nothing about. What else didn't she tell me? Everyone has secrets, even the people we love most. Marcus looked at his daughter. "When did you get so wise?" "I have a good teacher." She kissed his forehead. "Call Elena. Tell her what happened. She'll understand." "It's 3 in the morning." "Text then. She's probably awake worrying." Marcus pulled out his phone, typed carefully. "I'm sorry about tonight. My late wife's daughter showed up. A daughter I didn't know existed. It's complicated. Can we talk tomorrow?" Elena's response came immediately. "Oh, Marcus, are you okay?" "I don't know. But I will be, I think. Call me when you can. I'm here. Whatever you need." Marcus stared at those words. "I'm here. Whatever you need." Words he'd said to students. Words Sarah had said to him. Words that meant commitment, presence, showing up. He typed back. "Thank you for understanding, for being patient, for being you. Always. Marcus turned off the lights, walked upstairs, paused outside the guest room where Simone slept, Sarah's daughter, his stepdaughter family he'd never known he had. Life had a way of surprising you, sometimes with tragedy, sometimes with unexpected grace. He went to bed thinking about both. About Sarah's secrets, about Simone's courage, about Elena's patience, about Keisha's wisdom, about how sometimes the wrong table leads to the right place. And sometimes the right place includes people you never expected to meet. Tomorrow would bring more questions, more complications, more feelings to process. But tonight, Marcus fell asleep thinking that maybe, just maybe, life was still full of possibilities. Even for a 58-year-old widower who couldn't read table numbers and had just discovered his wife's hidden past. Especially for him. Morning arrived with weak sunlight filtering through the kitchen windows, where Marcus stood making coffee for 3 instead of 1. His hands moved automatically, measuring grounds, filling the reservoir, pressing start, while his mind struggled to catch up with the reality that Sarah's daughter slept upstairs in the guest room. Keisha appeared first, still in her pajamas, hair wrapped in a silk bonnet. "You sleep at all?" she asked. "Maybe 2 hours. You, about the same." She leaned against the counter. "Dad, we need to talk about Simone. About what happens next." "What do you mean?" "I mean she's working 2 jobs and barely making rent. She's family. We can't just send her back to that." Marcus poured coffee into 3 mugs. "I know. So what are we going to do?" "I don't know yet. Give me time to think." Simone appeared in the doorway, looking uncertain. "I can hear you talking about me." "Good," Marcus said, handing her a mug. "We're family now. Family doesn't talk behind each other's backs. Sit. We need to have a conversation." They sat at the kitchen table, where Marcus and Sarah had shared thousands of meals, where Keisha had done her homework, where life had happened in all its messy, ordinary glory. "Simone, tell me about your living situation," Marcus said. "The truth, not the version that makes it sound manageable." Simone wrapped both hands around her mug. "I share a studio apartment in Rogers Park with 2 other girls. We rotate who sleeps on the couch. I work at a coffee shop mornings, tutor high school students evenings. I study whenever I can. It's fine." "It's not fine," Keisha said. "Nobody should be living like that." "It's what I can afford." "You're Sarah's daughter," Marcus said quietly. "Which means you're Keisha's sister, which means you're my family, and family takes care of family. I'm not your responsibility. Maybe not legally, but morally, you're exactly my responsibility." Marcus took a sip of coffee, buying time to organize his thoughts. "The guest room is yours. Move in today. No rent. Focus on school." Simone's eyes filled with tears. "I can't accept that." "Why not?" "Because I just met you yesterday. Because you don't owe me anything. Because this is crazy." "Life is crazy," Keisha said. "We're just adapting to it." "What about your girlfriend?" Simone asked Marcus. "The architect. Won't this complicate things?" "Everything complicates things. That's not a reason to do nothing." Marcus set down his mug. "Elena will understand. And if she doesn't, then she's not who I thought she was." His phone buzzed. "Speaking of Elena." "Good morning. How are you holding up?" Marcus typed back with one hand. "Surviving. Can I call you later? After I get things settled here." "Of course. Take all the time you need." He set the phone down, looked at Simone. "You have classes today." "2, but I can skip." "Don't skip. Go to class. Keisha will help you pack up your things this afternoon. We'll figure out the details as we go." "Marcus, I don't know what to say." "Say yes. Say thank you. Then go get ready for class." Simone stood still, crying, and hugged him awkwardly. Marcus froze for a second, then hugged her back. She felt small in his arms, fragile despite her obvious strength. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know what this means." "I think I do. Now go, Education first. That's what Sarah would say. After Simone left for campus, Keisha sat across from her father. "You sure about this, Dad?" "No, but I'm doing it anyway." Mom would be proud. Mom should have told me. About Simone. About everything. Marcus felt anger rising. 25 years of marriage and she kept this secret. What else didn't she tell me? "Dad, I thought I knew her, Keisha. I thought we told each other everything. But this, a whole daughter. How do I process that?" You can be angry and still do the right thing. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Marcus stood paced to the window. "I need to call Elena. Explain all this. She probably thinks I'm using family emergency as an excuse to ghost her." "Then call her." He pulled out his phone, stared at Elena's number, pressed call before he could overthink it. She answered on the second ring. "Marcus?" "Hi. I'm sorry about last night, about everything." "Don't apologize. Tell me what happened. If you want to, I mean. No pressure." Marcus took a breath. "My late wife had a daughter. Before we met. She gave her up for adoption. I never knew. Nobody knew. And yesterday that daughter showed up at my house looking for answers." Silence on the other end. Long enough that Marcus thought the call had dropped. "Elena." "I'm here. I'm just processing." Another pause. "How are you feeling?" "Confused, angry, overwhelmed, grateful. All of it at once." "That's a lot." "It is. And I understand if this is too much. We barely know each other. You didn't sign up for my family drama." "Marcus, stop." Elena's voice was firm. "I'm not running because your life got complicated. Life is complicated. That's just reality. The question is, do you still want to see me? Despite all this?" "Yes. God, yes. But I need time. To figure out what this means. To help Simone settle in. To process that my wife kept secrets from me." "Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere." "You mean that?" "I mean that. Call me when you're ready. We'll pick up where we left off." Marcus felt tension drain from his shoulders. "Thank you. For understanding. For being patient." That's what people do when they care about each other. They show up, even when it's messy. After they hung up, Marcus sat with his phone in his hand, marveling at Elena's grace. Most people would run from this situation. But she stayed. She understood. The front door opened. Keisha came back from dropping Simone at campus. "How'd it go with Elena?" "Better than expected. She's willing to wait while I figure this out." "She sounds like a keeper." "She is, which terrifies me." "Why?" "Because caring about someone means risking loss again. And I don't know if I can survive that twice." Keisha sat beside him on the couch. "Dad, you're already surviving. You survived Mom's death. You survived 5 years alone. You're surviving Simone's arrival. You're stronger than you think. Or more stubborn. Same thing in this family." Marcus spent the day helping Simone move her belongings from the cramped studio in Rogers Park. The apartment was worse than he'd imagined. 3 girls crammed into a space meant for one, clothes piled everywhere, a hot plate instead of a real stove. "You've been living like this for how long?" he asked, loading boxes into his Honda. 2 years, since my adoptive parents died." Simone carried a box of books. "It's not that bad." "It's terrible. No wonder you're exhausted all the time." "I'm used to it." "You shouldn't have to be used to it." Marcus took the box from her. "Sarah would be horrified." "You keep talking about her like I knew her." "You should have known her. That's not your fault or hers, it's just how life worked out. But we can honor her memory by making sure you have what you need." They finished loading the car. Simone said goodbye to her roommates, 2 girls who looked equally tired and overwhelmed. Marcus pressed $100 into the hand of one of them. "For next month's rent, so you're not short." "Sir, you don't have to." "I know, but Sarah's daughter lived here. That makes you family by extension. Take it." On the drive back to Beverly, Simone was quiet. "You okay?" Marcus asked. "I keep waiting to wake up. This doesn't feel real." "Welcome to my world. I've felt that way since you walked through my door." "Do you resent me for showing up and disrupting everything?" Marcus thought about the question. Really thought about it. "No. I resent that Sarah didn't tell me about you. I resent that you grew up without knowing your birth mother. I resent the circumstances that kept you two apart. But you, I don't resent you at all. You're innocent in all this. I could have stayed away, not contacted Keisha, just wondered from a distance. Then you'd be robbing yourself of family and robbing us of knowing you. That would be the real tragedy." They pulled into the driveway. Keisha was already there, having left campus early to help unpack. "Welcome home," she said when Simone got out. Official welcome this time, not the shocked middle-of-the-night version. Simone smiled. "Thank you, both of you. I don't have words for what this means." "Then don't try to find words. Just live here, study here, be part of this family." Marcus grabbed boxes from the trunk. "And maybe help with dishes occasionally. That's the price of admission." They spent the afternoon settling Simone into the guest room. Keisha donated clothes that no longer fit. Marcus cleared space in the bathroom cabinet. They hung Sarah's college diploma on the wall, a law degree from Northwestern that Sarah had been so proud of. "She went to Northwestern?" Simone asked, staring at the diploma. "Full scholarship, top of her class. She could have worked anywhere, but she chose Chicago. Said she felt connected to the city." Marcus stood beside Simone. "You're at UIC, pre-law, following in her footsteps without even knowing it. It's weird, right, that I chose law without knowing she was a lawyer. It's genetics, or destiny, or both. Take your pick." Simone traced the letters on the diploma with one finger. "I wish I could have asked her questions. About law school. About being a black woman in a white-dominated field. About how she balanced everything. I can tell you some of that. Keisha can tell you more. We'll piece together who she was." Marcus put his hand on Simone's shoulder. "She was brilliant, fierce, funny, stubborn as hell. You would have liked her, and she would have loved you." That evening, Marcus called Elena. "How's everything?" she asked. "Chaotic, but settling." Simone's moved in. "Keisha's being an amazing big sister. I'm trying not to lose my mind." "Sounds like you're handling it well." "I'm faking it. There's a difference." Marcus sat on the back porch, the November cold biting through his jacket. "Elena, I want to see you, but I don't know when things will calm down enough." "Then don't wait for calm. Calm is overrated. Come to dinner at my place Friday. Bring your daughters. All of them. Let me meet the people who matter to you." "That's a lot. Meeting family. That's serious." "We had our first date at the wrong table. Serious is relative." He heard the smile in her voice. "Besides, I want to meet them. Keisha sounds amazing. And Simone's story is remarkable. Come over. Let me cook for you." "You cook?" "I'm Latina. Of course I cook. My abuela would disown me otherwise." Marcus laughed. "Okay, Friday. But I'm warning you, we're a mess right now." All families are messy. That's what makes them real. Friday arrived faster than Marcus expected. He spent the afternoon nervously cleaning the house, then realized Elena's place would be different, then worried about whether Simone felt comfortable meeting his girlfriend, then worried about calling Elena his girlfriend when they'd only had 1.5 dates. "Dad, you're spiraling," Keisha said, watching him change shirts for the 3rd time. "I'm not spiraling. You're absolutely spiraling. It's just dinner. With a woman who already likes you. Stop overthinking. What if Simone thinks it's too soon? Sarah's only been gone 5 years. 5 years is a long time, and Simone never knew Mom. She won't judge you for moving on. But what if... Dad." Keisha grabbed his shoulders. "Elena invited us to dinner because she wants to know your family. That's a good thing. It means she's serious about you. Stop finding reasons to panic and just accept that something good is happening." Simone appeared in the doorway. I don't have to go if you think it's weird. I can stay home, study, give you space. You're coming, Marcus said firmly. Your family. Elena wants to meet you. End of discussion. They drove to Elena's condo in Lakeview. Marcus had offered to pick her up, but she'd insisted they come to her place. I want you to see where I live, who I am outside of restaurants and coffee shops. The building had a ramp entrance and an elevator. Her condo was on the 4th floor, the door wide enough for her wheelchair, the interior clearly designed with accessibility in mind. Elena answered the door wearing jeans and a red sweater, her hair pulled back, an apron tied around her waist. Welcome, she said, wheeling backward to let them in. You must be Keisha and Simone. I've heard so much about both of you. All good things, I hope, Keisha said. Mostly good, some embarrassing. Your father talks about you constantly. Marcus felt his face heat. I do not. You absolutely do. Come in, dinner's almost ready. The condo smelled incredible garlic spices, something baking. Elena had set the table for 4 with actual cloth napkins and good dishes. You didn't have to go to all this trouble, Marcus said. It's not trouble. It's hospitality. Sit. I'll bring out the food. Let me help, Simone said, following Elena to the kitchen. Marcus and Keisha sat at the table. Keisha leaned over and whispered, Dad, she's amazing. Don't screw this up. I'm trying not to. Try harder. Elena and Simone returned carrying dishes. Chicken enchiladas, Mexican rice, refried beans, homemade salsa. The table groaned under the weight of the food. This is incredible, Keisha said. Did you make all this? My grandmother's recipes. Cooking is how I remember her, how I stay connected to my roots. Elena passed the enchiladas. Plus, I like feeding people. It's a cultural thing. We show love through food. They ate. The food was perfect, rich, flavorful, made with care. Elena asked questions about Simone's studies, about Keisha's medical school classes, about Marcus's debate team. She listened like she genuinely cared about the answers. Your father tells me you're studying pre-law, Elena said to Simone. That's ambitious. It's what I've always wanted to do, even before I knew my birth mother was a lawyer. That's powerful, following a path that's in your DNA. Do you believe in that? Simone asked. That genetics determine our interests. I think genetics give us predispositions, but choice determines our path. You could have chosen anything. You chose law. That says something about who you are independent of Sarah. Simone smiled. I like that way of thinking about it. After dinner, they moved to the living room. Elena brought out coffee and Mexican wedding cookies her grandmother used to make. Marcus watched her move through her space with easy confidence, her wheelchair an extension of herself rather than a limitation. Elena, can I ask you something? Simone said. About your accident. About how you adapted. I'm writing a paper for my disability law class, and I'd love to hear your perspective, if you're comfortable sharing. What do you want to know? How did you navigate the world after legally, socially, professionally? Everything changed, right? Elena set down her coffee cup. Everything changed. The physical changes were obvious. I needed a wheelchair, adaptive equipment, accessible spaces. But the social changes were harder. People treated me differently. Some pitied me. Some avoided me. Some fetishized my disability. Very few people just saw me as Elena. How did you handle that? Badly at first. I was angry, bitter. I lashed out at people who were trying to help and pushed away people who cared. My brother can tell you stories. She smiled ruefully. But eventually I realized being angry was exhausting. So I started advocating. For myself, first, then for others. I went back to school, got certified in accessible design, started my own practice, turned my pain into purpose. That's inspiring, Simone said. It's survival. We all do it in different ways. You survived losing your adoptive parents. Marcus survived losing Sarah. Keisha survived watching her mother die. We're all just doing the best we can with what life gives us. Marcus watched Elena talk with his daughters, both of them, and felt something shift in his chest. This was real. This connection wasn't just attraction or loneliness. It was genuine. Keisha caught his eye and smiled knowingly. Later, after Keisha and Simone had moved to the kitchen to help with dishes, despite Elena's protests, Marcus found himself alone with Elena on the couch. "Thank you," he said, "for tonight, for welcoming my daughters, for making them feel comfortable. They're wonderful, both of them. You should be proud." "I am, though I can't take much credit for Simone. She raised herself, basically. But you're giving her family now. That matters." Elena took his hand. "Marcus, I like your life, the messiness of it, the realness. You're not pretending everything's perfect. Everything's a disaster. Everything's authentic. There's a difference." She squeezed his hand. "I spent years after my accident trying to prove I was still perfect, still capable, still the same Elena I'd always been. But that was exhausting and impossible. I'm different now. And that's okay. Your life is different than you planned. That's okay too. How are you this wise? Suffering teaches you. I'm just a good student." Marcus leaned closer. "Can I kiss you?" "I thought you'd never ask." He kissed her softly, gently, like she might break. She kissed him back with a certainty that said she wouldn't. When they pulled apart, Elena smiled. "That took you long enough. I'm out of practice. We'll work on that." From the kitchen they heard laughter. Keisha and Simone talking, bonding, becoming sisters. "Your daughters like each other," Elena observed. "Thank God for that. Could you imagine if they didn't? They're Sarah's daughters. Of course they like each other. They probably share the same stubborn streak." "They definitely share that." They sat together on the couch, hands intertwined, listening to the sounds of family forming in the next room. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't what Marcus had planned. But it was real. And real Marcus was learning was better than perfect. When they finally left around 11, Elena hugged each of them goodbye. She held on to Marcus longest. "Thank you for sharing them with me," she whispered. "Thank you for wanting to know them. Call me tomorrow. Tomorrow and every day after, if you'll let me." In the car, Keisha and Simone were quiet until they pulled onto Lakeshore Drive. Then Keisha said, "Dad, I really like her." "Me too," Simone added. "She's real. No pretense. Just honest." "That's what I like about her too," Marcus said. "Mom would approve," Keisha said softly. Marcus's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "You think so?" "I know so. Mom always said you deserved someone who saw you. Really saw you. Elena does. Your mom said that before she got too sick to talk. She made me promise to make sure you didn't spend the rest of your life alone. She said you had too much love left to give to waste it on grief." Marcus felt tears burning his eyes. She said that. So stop feeling guilty. Stop thinking you're betraying her. You're honoring her by living, by loving, by being open to whatever comes next. They drove the rest of the way home in silence. When they pulled into the driveway, Marcus sat for a moment before turning off the engine. "I love you both," he said. "Keisha for always being my rock. Simone for trusting me enough to stay. I don't know what I did to deserve you two, but I'm grateful." "You're a good man, Dad," Keisha said. "That's what you did." "You took me in when you didn't have to," Simone added. "You saw me as family when I was a stranger. That's everything." They went inside together. Marcus made tea. They sat around the kitchen table talking about everything and nothing until past midnight. This was family now. Keisha and Simone, Marcus and Elena, all of them figuring it out as they went. All of them choosing connection over safety, love over fear. It wasn't the family Marcus had imagined, but maybe that was the point. Maybe life wasn't about getting what you planned. Maybe it was about being open to what arrived. about sitting at the wrong table and finding exactly what you needed, about second chances and new beginnings and the courage to say yes when every instinct screamed to run. Marcus fell asleep that night thinking about Elena's smile, about Keisha's approval, about Simone's gratitude, about Sarah's final wish that he not waste his life on grief. And for the first time in 5 years, he fell asleep feeling like he was exactly where he was supposed to be, even if he'd gotten there completely by accident. 3 weeks passed in a blur of adjustment and discovery. Marcus found himself living in a house that suddenly felt alive again. Keisha stopping by after classes, Simone studying at the kitchen table late into the night, Elena calling every evening to check in. The loneliness that had defined his life for 5 years began to feel like a distant memory. But memory has a way of demanding attention when you least expect it. Marcus was grading papers in his classroom after school when his phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Thompson, this is Patricia Chen, David's mother." Marcus's blood went cold. "David, Elena's ex-fiancé. Mrs. Chen, I'm not sure why you're calling me. I'm calling because my son is miserable. He made a mistake leaving Elena and he wants another chance. But she won't return his calls, won't answer his emails. I understand she's seeing someone new, you I presume. That's between Elena and David, not you and me. Mr. Thompson, my son loved her. He was young and scared when the accident happened. He panicked, but he's grown since then. He's ready to be the man she needs. He had 8 months to be that man. He chose to leave. He chose wrong. People deserve second chances." Marcus felt anger rising. "Mrs. Chen, with all due respect, your son abandoned Elena when she needed him most. He doesn't get to come back now that someone else sees her value. He still loves her. Then he should have loved her when it was hard, when she was struggling, when she needed someone to fight for her. He didn't. I'm sorry he regrets that, but Elena's moved on." "Has she? Or is she settling for someone safe because she thinks no one else will want her?" The words hit like a physical blow. Marcus ended the call without responding. He sat in his empty classroom, hands shaking. Was that what Elena was doing? Settling for him because she thought she couldn't do better? His phone rang again. Elena this time. "Hey," he said, trying to sound normal. "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "Why?" "Marcus, I can hear it in your voice. What happened?" He told her about Patricia Chen's call, about David wanting another chance, about the suggestion that Elena was settling. Elena was quiet for a long moment. "Marcus, I need you to listen to me very carefully. David's mother is desperate. Her son is miserable because he threw away something good and he knows it. That's not my problem, and it's definitely not your problem. But what if she's right? What if you're with me because you think you can't do better? Marcus Thompson, that's the dumbest thing you've ever said. And you once called the Treaty of Versailles the Treaty of Viagra, so that's saying something." Despite everything, Marcus laughed. "I'm not with you because I think I can't do better." Elena continued. "I'm with you because you're exactly what I want. You see me. You challenge me. You make me laugh. You introduced me to your daughters 3 weeks into dating because you wanted me to know them. Do you know how rare that is? But David had his chance. He blew it. I spent months after he left wondering what was wrong with me, why I wasn't enough. Then I realized the problem wasn't me, it was him. He couldn't handle a partner who was different than what he'd imagined. You never had that problem because you never imagined me as anything other than what I am." Marcus felt tension draining from his shoulders. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have doubted you. You're human. We all have insecurities. But Marcus, I need you to trust this. Trust us. Can you do that?" "I'm trying." "Try harder. Because I'm all in on this. On you. On us. And I need to know you are too." "I am. God, Elena, I am. You scare me because I care so much." "Good. I'd be worried if you weren't scared. Fear means it matters. They talked for another hour. Marcus sitting in his classroom, Elena working in her home office. Just talking. About everything and nothing. About fear and trust and the courage it takes to love again. When they finally hung up, Marcus felt steadier, more certain. His phone buzzed with a text from Keisha. Family meeting tonight, 7 p.m. Be there. Marcus arrived home to find both his daughters waiting in the living room, their expressions serious. What's going on? He asked. Sit down, Dad, Keisha said. That's never a good sign. Just sit. Marcus sat. Keisha and Simone exchanged looks. We've been talking, Simone started. About Mom, about Sarah, about the secret she kept. Okay? And we think it's time you read her journals. Marcus felt his stomach drop. Her journals? We found them in the attic, Keisha said. Boxes of them. Dating back to high school, including the year she gave Simone up for adoption. I don't know if I want to read them. Dad, you need to. You're angry at her for keeping secrets, but maybe understanding why she kept them will help. Or maybe it'll make things worse. Or maybe it'll give you closure, Simone said softly. I want to read them too. I want to know who she was, what she was thinking, why she made the choices she made. Marcus looked at his daughters, both Sarah's daughters, both waiting for his decision. Okay. But we read them together, all three of us. Deal. Deal. They spent that evening and the next several evenings reading Sarah's journals. Her handwriting filled page after page, neat at first, then increasingly frantic during her pregnancy, then measured and controlled afterward. I'm 17 and pregnant. One entry read. Marcus doesn't know yet. Neither does anyone except the school nurse. I'm terrified. My parents will kill me. The baby's father is gone. I don't know what to do. Another entry weeks later. I told my parents. They're devastated. Angry. Ashamed. They say I have two choices, keep the baby and drop out of school, or give her up and finish my education. They say I'm too young, that I'll ruin my life, that the baby deserves better. I don't know if they're right or just trying to make themselves feel better about forcing me to give away their grandchild. Marcus read with tears streaming down his face. Keisha cried quietly. Simone sat between them, absorbing every word about the woman who'd given her life and then given her away. I named her, one entry read. The adoption agency said I didn't have to, but I wanted her to have a name from me, something to connect us even if we never meet again. I named her Simone. It means, God has heard. Because I prayed every night during my pregnancy that she'd be okay, that she'd have a good life, that she'd forgive me someday. Simone made a sound halfway between a sob and a laugh. She named me. I always thought my adoptive parents chose my name. They must have kept it, Keisha said. Honored her choice. They kept reading. Entry after entry chronicling Sarah's grief, her guilt, her determination to make something of herself, so that Simone's sacrifice, because that's how Sarah saw it as Simone's sacrifice, wouldn't be in vain. I met someone, an entry from several years later read. His name is Marcus Thompson. He's in my constitutional law class. He's brilliant and funny and kind. He doesn't know about Simone. I want to tell him, but I'm scared. What if he judges me? What if he sees me differently? What if he leaves? Marcus closed the journal. She was scared I'd leave if I knew. Would you have? Simone asked quietly. No, God no. I would have helped her find you, or at least tried. He opened the journal again, kept reading. Marcus asked me to marry him. A later entry read. I said yes. I should tell him about Simone before the wedding. I keep meaning to. But every time I try, the words stick in my throat. What if he changes his mind? What if he realizes I'm damaged goods? What if he wants someone who hasn't made terrible mistakes? I tell myself I'll tell him after the wedding, after the honeymoon, after we settle into married life. but after never comes. And now it's been so long that telling him feels like betraying him all over again. She wanted to tell you, Keisha said. She just didn't know how. She had 25 years to figure it out. Fear is powerful, Dad. It makes us do things or not do things that don't make sense from the outside. They read until they reached the final journals. Sarah's handwriting had changed shakier, less controlled. The cancer was taking her. I'm dying. One of the last entries read. The doctors say months, maybe weeks. I need to tell Marcus about Simone. I need to explain. But he's already losing me. How can I add this burden? How can I force him to process this secret while he's grieving? Maybe it's better if he never knows. Maybe some secrets should die with us. Or maybe I'm just a coward to the end. The final entry was dated 3 days before Sarah died. Keisha promised to make sure Marcus doesn't spend his life alone. She's such a good daughter. I wish Simone could know her, could know Marcus, could know they have family who would love them. But that choice is gone now. I made it 17 years ago when I signed those adoption papers. I thought I was doing the right thing, giving Simone a better life. Maybe I was. Or maybe I was just scared and selfish and not brave enough to fight for what I wanted. I'll never know. All I know is I loved her. I love Marcus. I love Keisha. And I hope wherever Simone is, she's happy. She's loved. She's everything I wanted her to be. That's all I can hope for now. That's all that's left. Simone was crying openly now. She loved me. Even though she gave me away, she loved me. She never stopped loving you, Marcus said. She just didn't know how to reach you. Would you have helped her if she'd told you, in a heartbeat, without question, you were her daughter? That would have made you family. They sat together on the couch, 3 people bound by one woman's choices, her secrets, her love, and fear mixed together in equal measure. I'm not angry at her anymore, Marcus said finally. I'm sad. Sad that she carried this alone. Sad that she felt she couldn't trust me with her truth. But I understand why she stayed silent. Fear is powerful. And sometimes love makes us do foolish things. Like sitting at the wrong table? Keisha asked with a small smile. Exactly like that. The next day, Marcus called Elena. I read Sarah's journals about Simone, about why she kept the secret. And I understand now. She was scared. Of judgment. Of loss. Of being seen as something less than perfect. I wish she'd trusted me, but I get it. Does it help understanding? It does. It doesn't change what happened, but it helps me forgive her. And myself for being angry. That's growth, Marcus. That's healing. Elena, I need to tell you something. Okay. David's mother called me. Told me he wants you back. Silence. I know. She called me too. Left 3 voicemails. What are you going to do? Nothing. There's nothing to do. I don't want David. I want you. But Marcus, I need to know. Are you going to doubt me every time your past intersects with my past? Because I can't build something real with someone who's constantly waiting for me to leave. I won't. I promise. I was scared. But Keisha reminded me that fear is just part of loving someone. It doesn't mean we run from it. Wise daughter you have there. I have 2 wise daughters now. Both of them keep me honest. Good. Because I'm done with men who can't handle honesty, with reality, with the messy, complicated truth of who I am. I can handle it. All of it. Your past, your disability, your ex trying to come back. All of it. Prove it. How? Come to the community center groundbreaking next week. Meet the people I work with. See what I'm building. Be part of my world, not just my personal life. I'll be there. Bring your daughters, both of them. I want them to see what I'm fighting for. The following Tuesday, Marcus stood in Pilsen, watching Elena direct a small crowd of donors, community members, and local politicians. She wore a hard hat over her hair, her wheelchair decorated with colorful ribbons that blew in the November wind. Thank you all for coming, she said into a microphone. This community center represents more than just a building. It represents a promise. A promise that disabled people matter, that we deserve spaces designed with us in mind, not as an afterthought, that accessibility isn't a luxury, it's a human right. The crowd applauded. Marcus watched her with pride swelling in his chest. Keisha leaned over. "Dad, she's amazing. She really is." Simone stood on his other side recording on her phone. "I'm using this for my disability law paper. Professor's going to love it." Carlos Rodriguez appeared beside Marcus. "Mr. Thompson." "Dr. Rodriguez. I owe you an apology. I was overprotective, suspicious. I treated you like a threat when you were anything but. You were protecting your sister. I understand that. Still, I was wrong. Elena's happier than I've seen her in years. That's because of you." Carlos extended his hand. "Thank you for seeing her. Really seeing her." Marcus shook his hand. "She makes it easy." After the speeches, after the ceremonial shovels broke ground, after the donors had left and the crowd dispersed, Elena wheeled over to where Marcus stood with his daughters. "What did you think?" "I think you're changing the world, one accessible building at a time." "I'm trying. Still short on funding, but we'll figure it out." "How much do you still need?" 200,000. It's a lot, but I'm not giving up." Marcus thought about his savings, about the life insurance money from Sarah he'd never touched, about what Sarah would want him to do with it. "Elena, can we talk privately?" They moved away from the crowd. Elena looked up at him with questioning eyes. "I want to donate to the center." "Marcus, you don't have to do that." "I know, but Sarah left life insurance money, enough to pay for Simone's law school and still have extra. I've been sitting on it for 5 years, not sure what to do with it. This feels right. Sarah would approve." "How much are we talking about?" 200,000. The full amount you need." Elena's face went pale. "Marcus, that's too much. That's your retirement, your security. That's Sarah's legacy, doing something meaningful, building something that matters, helping people the way she always wanted to help people." He took Elena's hands. "Let me do this, please." "I can't accept that much money from you. It's not appropriate. We've only been dating a month." "Then don't accept it from me. Accept it from Sarah, in Simone's name. Call it the Sarah Thompson Memorial Fund. Make it about family and second chances and not letting fear stop us from building something better." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "You're serious." "Completely serious." "Marcus, this changes everything. The center, my practice, the people we can help. Do you understand what you're offering?" "I understand, and I'm certain. This is what Sarah's money should do. Create something lasting, something good, something that helps people who've been overlooked and underserved." Elena pulled him down and kissed him, right there in the middle of the empty lot where her dream was about to become reality. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for seeing what this means, for believing in it, for believing in me. Always." They announced the donation the following week. The Sarah Thompson Memorial Fund would fully fund the remaining construction costs. Elena insisted on adding a plaque acknowledging Sarah's contribution, her legacy, her daughter Simone. Simone stood at the press conference beside Marcus and Elena, tears streaming down her face. "My birth mother gave me life," she said into the microphone. "And now, through this donation, she's giving life to this community. To disabled people who deserve better. To everyone who's been told they don't matter. Thank you for letting me be part of this. Thank you for honoring her this way." The local news covered the story. A teacher honoring his late wife's memory by funding an accessible community center designed by his girlfriend in the name of the daughter his wife had given up for adoption. "You can't make this stuff up," Keisha said, watching the news that evening. "This is like a movie." "This is life," Marcus said. "Messy, complicated, beautiful life." His phone rang. Unknown number again. Against his better judgment, he answered. "Marcus Thompson." "Mr. Thompson, this is David Chen." Marcus's grip tightened on the phone. "Mr. Chen." "I saw the news. About the donation. About Elena. I wanted to call and say congratulations. And to apologize." Apologize to Elena, not me. I tried. She won't take my calls, so I'm calling you. Man to man. I messed up. I had something special and I threw it away because I was scared and stupid and couldn't see past the wheelchair to the woman I loved. You're a better man than I was. Take care of her. She deserves that. I know she does. And Mr. Thompson. That thing my mother said, about Elena settling, that was projection. I'm the one who settled. Every relationship since Elena has been settling because no one else is her. She's remarkable. You know that. Don't let her go. I won't. David hung up. Marcus sat with the phone in his hand, processing. Who was that? Elena asked from the doorway. David Chen, calling to apologize, to congratulate us, to tell me not to mess this up. And what did you say? I said I wouldn't. Marcus stood, crossed to her, knelt down so they were eye level. Elena Rodriguez, I'm falling in love with you. Actually, I think I fell in love with you the moment you let me crash your dinner table. I know it's fast. I know it's messy. I know we're both carrying baggage and scars and complicated histories, but I don't care. I want this. I want you. I want us. Elena cupped his face in her hands. Marcus Thompson, I'm already in love with you. I think I have been since you ran through the rain rather than stand me up. Since you faced my brother without flinching. Since you introduced me to your daughters and trusted me with your heart. So yes, to all of it. To the mess. To the complications. To us. They kissed in the doorway, while Keisha and Simone pretended not to watch from the living room. Finally, Keisha whispered. I thought they'd never figure it out. They're old, Simone whispered back. They move slower. I heard that, Marcus called out. Both girls laughed. That Christmas, Marcus hosted dinner for the first time in 5 years. Elena came with Carlos. Keisha brought her boyfriend. Simone invited 2 friends from law school who had nowhere else to go. The house that had been silent and empty for so long filled with voices, laughter, the clatter of dishes, and the warmth of family. Marcus stood in the kitchen doorway, watching it all, Elena and Carlos arguing playfully in Spanish Keisha, teaching Simone how to make Sarah's famous sweet potato pie friends, becoming family before his eyes. You look happy, Keisha said, appearing beside him. I am, terrifyingly happy. Mom would be proud of you. You think so? I know so. You honored her memory by building something new, by letting go without forgetting, by loving again without betraying what came before. That's exactly what she wanted. Marcus pulled his daughter close. When did you get so wise? I learned from the best. They rejoined the group. Marcus sat at the head of the table where Sarah used to sit. But he didn't feel like he was replacing her. He felt like he was honoring her, by living fully, by loving openly, by building a family from the scattered pieces of loss and grief and unexpected grace. Elena raised her glass. A toast to Sarah Thompson, for giving us Simone, for raising Keisha, for loving Marcus and teaching him what real love looks like, and for bringing all of us together in ways she never could have imagined. To Sarah. To Sarah, everyone echoed. Marcus felt tears on his cheeks, but didn't wipe them away. These were good tears, healing tears, the kind that come when you realize you've survived something you thought would destroy you. He'd survived. More than that, he'd learned to live again. All because he sat at the wrong table and met a woman in a wheelchair who taught him that sometimes the best things in life come from mistakes. That sometimes getting lost is how you find your way home. That sometimes the wrong turn leads exactly where you're meant to be. Marcus looked around the table at his family chosen and found and built from love and loss, and the courage to keep trying. This was home now. Messy, complicated, beautiful home. And he wouldn't change a single thing.